Okay, my first T100 is in the books, T100 San Francisco, and honestly it was a great experience. Had a great week there. We actually had some good weather, whereas all the people were telling me that it was gonna be cloudy and maybe even rainy, but the weather was really good leading up to the race, so that was very exciting. And I went out on the course the day before and I just saw that it was gonna be a brutal race, like one of the most exciting bike courses that I've ever done, to be honest, with a steep uphill and a technical downhill, and that twice per lap for 6 laps, which means 12 times that. That's very, very exciting. Also tried out the swim the day before, which also looked like it was going to be very, very hard because the water was really cold and choppy. So yeah, I started feeling very, very excited to race it. Also Escape from Alcatraz, which the T100 uses part of the course of, has always been a bucket list race of mine. So on race day, I think it was 5:15 in the morning, that we had to get on the boat that was gonna bring us to the island of Alcatraz, and then at 6 o'clock we had to jump off into the cold waters. And I have to say that at that point I wasn't as excited anymore about swimming in those waters, because it was a very sudden shock at 6 in the morning to jump into that cold water. And I never really had like an amazing feeling in the swim, so I kind of just stayed with the other people, with the group, and never really got into difficulties, but also didn't really feel like I could push it a lot. But that also meant that we came out of the water with quite a big group, and even some surprising names that were there, like Sam Long, Jason West, some of the main competitors were only 50 seconds down out of the swim, which normally it's a lot more. So that definitely made me like a little bit nervous. But then once we got on the bike, I immediately just knew that I wanted to put the hammer down and make all of them suffer as much as possible to reach the front of the race, even though they were already very close. I didn't want to make it easy on them. And I think that I succeeded in that. We were actually with 3 guys that were a little bit away from the rest. That was me, Rico, Bogen, and Kyle Smith, who ended up also being the protagonists on the run. So that was actually really cool. We had a really good understanding, the 3 of us, and I think we played it very fair by the rules. And I think all the others really suffered already to catch up during the bike. And then by the end of the bike, everyone kind of came together. So we ended up being a group of 9 people with pretty much all the pre-race favorites in there. So Sam Long was in there, Magnus Ditlev was in there, but I felt before the race already that Kyle Smith was gonna be the one to watch. And he kind of surprised me by having a really, really good transition, and I honestly had a horrible transition. I was trying to rack my bike, but I didn't know that the way the racks work, your bike kind of automatically falls out, because the extensions on our time trial bikes are so long that they are almost extending past your front wheel, which made my bike fall out like 4 or 5 times out of the rack. So I had to put it every time again until I realized, okay, I should probably turn my bike around and put it in. But because I struggled there a little bit, Kyle was already off for 20 seconds onto the run course, and that left me with quite a lot of work to do. And the first kilometers in the run, I actually felt amazing, and I was going so fast, and I could feel that I was closing in on Kyle. Like every couple of 100 meters, I was getting closer and closer and closer. And after maybe already 3 kilometers, I closed that gap, but I definitely also maybe overdid myself a little bit and used a lot of energy kind of surging getting off that very hard bike to get to the front, to get to Kyle, who I knew that I couldn't let him go. So once I reached Kyle, I was kind of just, happy to sit with him and like sit behind him. And then one lap later, also Rico Bogen came back, and those were the three same musketeers as we were on the bike. And yeah, we kind of just stayed together until the last kilometer of like which like has been going very viral, the video of us sprinting. But I think before that, because it was a very windy day, all three of us were kind of a bit too scared to really make the first move, because the one that was gonna make the first move was just gonna get answered immediately, and like we were all running at maybe only 95%, so whatever move you try to make, the other ones were definitely gonna have the energy to close in on you. So that's why, I think that's why we kind of ended up, all three of us, going to the sprint and ending up in that situation. And I honestly wasn't too confident that I was gonna take the victory in the sprint, because because I was actually still suffering a little bit from that very fast start of the run. But the closer I was getting to the line, the more I started feeling, okay, this is gonna be mine. And then Rico kind of started cracking a little bit when Kyle started accelerating with about 300 meters to go. And I was just behind Kyle. We turned onto the last straight, and I saw grass, which made me a little bit scared, because I've had a couple of sprints where I fell down actually. The one that started my 2-year-long injury was a sprint with some unevenness, and I also had another sprint in a Super League race with Alexi a couple of years back that I also tripped and fell and maybe lost the race because of that. So I was actually very surprised to see the grass in that last straight, because we couldn't see it beforehand, before the race, because they only had a permit to set up the whole race venue during that night. We didn't have the possibility to see how it looked. So lucky for me, probably the others were as surprised as me to see like this grass, as we say in Dutch, this potato field to end. And I think that I twice I almost fell down in the last straight, but I could keep it up, and just stayed just ahead of Kyle and take the tape. So that was very, very good.